So, quite frankly, there is so much misinformation going around about the changes to the winter fuel payments. It's unbelievable. But this is the only thing at the moment that the right wing press actually has to attack the Labour government, and even the Conservatives themselves is the only thing that they actually have to, well, even go after the current Labour government for. Um, but it's a typical right wing misinformation uh, campaign we have seen, and it is even affecting people like Jeremy Corbyn, because today him and the other independent MPs put out a statement saying that the winter fuel allowance or the winter fuel payment is being cut, and this is what is causing the biggest panic, shall we say, amongst people. Now, what is happening is that it is becoming means tested. This is the TDLR. We'll get into what is actually happening in a moment, but this is the TDLR. It is being means tested, basically meaning unless you're receiving pension credit or a number of other benefits, again, we'll get into that later, you don't get it anymore. Now, this is cutting from when it was universal down from um, 11.4 million people when it was universal down to 1.5 million. So, yes, that is a significant change, and a lot of people who will not get the benefit that they're used to. However, it is being means tested. So, if you are on one of these benefits, then guess what? You still gain access to the winter fuel allowance. But there is still a lot of misinformation that right wing press, conservatives, reform, especially jumping on this. So be careful of community groups spreading this, because I've seen one of our local community groups try to spread a petition to sort of get the government to stop this. When again, it's not being cut; it is being means tested. Two entirely different things. Being cut, I think, is very much from a language point of view, means that this is like completely going away. And I have seen a lot of people basically saying the winter fuel allowance no longer exists, that it's being going. That is not the case at all. So we're going to get into that now and explain just what is going on with some of these changes, and hopefully this will clear up a lot of misinformation that's been going around on this. Because, like I say, when even people like Jeremy Corbyn are spreading this misinformation, I think it needs to be addressed. So, as always, before we do get into this, please do remember to click on the like, share, and subscribe button. And of course, down below, there are links to the Patreon page, the Buy Me Coffee link where you can well buy me coffee, the YouTube thank you button, and of course, the Patreon page down below as well. So, thank you very much to all those people who do help support the channel that way. Of course, you can always click the like, the share button, and of course, leave a comment down below as well. So, what is happening? What are some of these changes? So, first of all, who is now eligible for the winter fuel payment? So, the winter fuel payment will now be limited to people over state pension age who are receiving pension credit or a limited number of benefits. And these benefits include income support, income-based job seekers allowance, income-related employment and support allowance, and universal credit. So if you are receiving one of those benefits, you can still get the winter fuel allowance. It is not being cut, but it is going down from 11.4 million to 1.5 million, and that will make a huge saving on this. This is something that really we as lefties should not be really against, because all that money, a vast amount of it, was going to people who really did not need it. But now this is money that can be used elsewhere. And of course, the people who do still need the winter fuel allowance, they're still going to be getting it. So this is something that should have been done long ago. And remember, when this was originally brought in, this was how it was originally. Like, this was what the winter fuel allowance was originally all about. This is what originally it was. So in many ways, it's just going back to what it used to be before, well, the Conservatives came along and started using it as a massive bung to try and, keep their pension OAP voters happy, to keep them voting for it. Even this had been discussed a long ago back in the Conservative Party, because how can you have a Conservative Party that is all about cutting taxes and reducing the size of the government, when they are massively for, things like the winter fuel payments. It's kind of bizarre that you've now got many people in the Conservative Party, even running for the Conservative Party leadership, wanting to keep the winter fuel payments, but still for small government tax cuts. But anyway, there you go. So anyway, hopefully that does clear some things up. And of course, people will be still be getting a letter. I believe, according to the government, it's literally in a couple of months' time. So you will be able to get that. But again, it should be very, very simple. It goes forward. And of course, today, remember, we are having Starmer and sort of a bit of the other cabinet members. I believe the energy minister, I can't remember the name now. They are meeting with the heads of the big energy companies, Ofgem, not Ofgem, Octopus, etc. They're all going to be meeting today in Downing Street. So I do expect, and I do fully expect the government to be really putting pressure on these companies saying, hey, if you start to, take the mickey, we might be, putting in a windfall tax. Bear in mind, if you remember last year, this was what Labour were constantly saying that the Conservatives needed to do. Bring in a windfall tax, put a cap on those profits. Remember, that's what Labour was saying last time this was all going on. So I still do believe that that is very much the case of what is going to be on today, possibly what is going to be talked about today. That if you are going through this, that if you're going to raise all this, you're going to sort of rake in these record profits. Well, we're going to put a windfall tax on you. That will be good because, again, you can put that into other schemes to help people. You tax these companies, you do all this stuff. Going forward, I think this is something that was honestly long needed to be addressed. And as we've said before, there's a lot of stuff. There's a lot of stuff that needs to be addressed with the fact that young people, or even people in the 20s and the 30s, get absolutely sort of nothing, and they're expected to sort of pay for a lot of older people while getting absolutely nothing in return. When people talk about sort of redistribution, rebalancing, making the winter fuel payment means tested, I think it's a good place to start because it's not being cut. It's not going away. It's not disappearing. People who still need it, they're going to be able to still have access to it. So it's not going away. A lot less people are going to get it. That's true. But the people who need it are the ones who are going to get it. So that will be, I think, very good. I think it's something that did really, really need to be addressed. But do let me know what you think down below in the comments. And of course, as always, we'll see you all next time.